All right, I know a lot of people are saying The Long Walk is the best Stephen King adaptation to put on film. I will have to highly disagree because things that are coming to mind just right now is Shawshank Redemption. We have Stand By Me. We have, I would even say 1408 is a better film. However, does that make The Long Walk a bad film? No, no, it doesn't. Chase Lee Hockey here with the Blue Futon reviewing The Long Walk. So it's about pretty simple premise. Think of this as the Hunger Games. It's kind of funny. It's the same director, but more of 50 states, 50 men. You have to walk until one survives and you get a buttload of money, which you really don't know the amount of money, and one wish. And that wish could be almost anything you want. Uh, Rules: you have to stay above 3 miles per hour. You get 3 strikes. After the third strike, you get shot in the head. The strikes do go away after each hour. You walk without getting a strike. So there's not like the strikes are, stay there. You can get rid of them or add them if you want to take a break or things like that. And this truly focuses on the 2 characters. As you've seen the trailer, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yes, you have 49 other characters. Some of them you get to know, some of them you don't. And I think there is enough people that you are caring about, or some of their background information, that really does help. So I did like this movie. It is, I wouldn't say a hard watch, but there is some gratuitous violence of showing some gunshots, which, I said it during the first reaction out of the movie theater with everything happening this week with like Charlie Kirk and things like that. Some of the gunshot wounds were pretty brutal to watch, and some people might just like roll their eyes at that statement because they've been in a war and they actually seen stuff. I've seen stuff like that too, being, medical before. But it's still one of those things where you're like, damn, it makes you triple think things in the back of your head of like just how evil some people are. And that is a moral of this story of bringing light into darkness, or light into the darkness as well. Did I just say that twice? Anyway, so when I'm talking about the positives, it is the acting. You do care for both the characters, and you do not know how the ending is going to be. So you do have a gut feeling of what's going to happen, but you still don't have an inkling of how the story is going to end. So that is a very positive thing with dealing with the characters and the story. So going with the characters, like I said, I do like them all. They all have their own personality or unique aspects to them, of sometimes you don't know all the information, sometimes you do. And I thought that was a really good thing. The story, it does, like I said, has that light versus darkness versus light kind of struggle in this movie of, should you be a good person in this world? Should you be a narcissist? Should you always see the negative? Or should there be light that is at the end of the tunnel, because there is hope of, some people, like a family, like these kids, like they don't know what they're doing. But at a point, it's like you got to feel like you got to want to believe there is a better future ahead. And so I do like that message when they're kind of bantering back and forth of what they would do with the money, what wish they would do, and kind of what their backstories are. So having that, there is some cynicalness to it where you're like, sometimes in this movie you're just dark and depressed, but then dialogue comes in and you're like, oh, okay, now I see where this movie's trying to go. And I do like enjoy that dialogue piece as well in this movie. If you're looking for like something that looks fantastic, it's basically a bunch of people walking. I hate to say it's probably a very easy movie to film. In my opinion, it feels like just go on a lot of back roads that are barely used and just start walking. And I know that probably sounds like impossible. It's actually not that hard, because I remember traveling through like California, New Mexico. This is more of plants. So I'm guessing this is more of like, I would guess, the southern part of like East Texas, Alabama, Mississippi. It feels like that is where this one is filmed, like Louisiana, just looking at the backwoods, the humidity, and things like that. I mean, it could be the Appalachian Mountains. I could be wrong, but that's probably where it's filmed. And I feel like with roads like that, it's a pretty easy movie to film. They're walking. Okay. The score, it's a nice, smooth score and things like that. So like I said, it's a nice looking movie. It's not really a nice movie to watch, but you're trying to get what I'm getting at, right? All right. Some negatives of the movie, in my opinion, these are my opinion, is number one, the ending. To me, it kind of brings the cynicalness back to the overall themes of the film. And yeah, I understand that, but then also I'm feeling if that did occur, there would be another frame of, you know, something occurring after the last frame. That's all I'm gonna say for that. Um, Also some character choices, especially there's one where someone steals something from the guard, hence you know what I'm trying to get at. And it's like he does something with it, but then he stops. And there was like a 3 second lull where he could have been like boom, 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 and there would have been one vehicle gone, and there's only one more left. So at that point, I was a little bit like, did you only want to do it to one? That, and plus knowing what his character was, you're just like interesting that you only decided to do that one. If I take a random guess, because he was more Native American, so I would go probably South Dakota or things like that. You know, one is from Louisiana, and you don't really get to know where the other ones are from. So there is that as well. Or you can say New Mexico, Oklahoma. There's plenty of states actually. So the movie itself, like I said, it's a simple movie to review. They're walking, they gotta stop. It's like the Hunger Games R-rated. People saying it's the best Stephen King adaptation. I don't know. I'm not in that camp yet, and I probably will never be in that camp because let's be honest, Stephen King has wrote a shit ton of things, and when you think about Stephen King, I do think he has a fetish now. Like, it's 100% confirmed there is a fetish with Stephen King of either torturing kids, killing kids, and these are maybe you say, oh, they're not kids. Okay, sure. Early 20-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 22-year-olds. Stephen King has a fetish of killing, torturing, murdering young people. It's fucking weird now when I think about it. Yeah, he has the onesie twosies like Stand By Me. Well, actually, a kid is murdered in that one because the whole point of the plot is to find a murdered kid. This, Mr. Mercedes. And Mr. Mercedes is a guy necrophilia with his mother. So it's like, I don't know what goes in this guy's brain. That's why I kind of sold all Stephen King books that I own, because I was starting to see a pattern, or if I didn't say it, a repetitiveness of like, what's your angle here? Yeah, sure, he has a couple onesie twos that probably aren't like that, of course. Shawshank, 1408, like I said, but still, there's a track record that I'm just not comfortable with. Let's put it that way. So overall, the long walk does exactly what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to stoke story. It's supposed to stoke fear. It is supposed to stoke shock in the story, but also does stoke hope in a weird way of, you know what, there is cynicalness in the world. There are people that want you dead. People glorify violence. People are sometimes happy for violence, especially at the very end of this film as well, where the Major does something and people are cheering, kind of like we see on the internet right now with people cheering for Charlie Kirk's death. What's the difference? I don't know. There isn't one. And it's just the narcissism. It's just the horror of people cheering on people's deaths for having a different opinion or just doing something. These kids are innocent. They signed up for a lottery to try to win money. They didn't murder anyone. They had an opinion, and they're going to do it. Same with that. And I know, like, why you keep bringing up Charlie Kirk in a lot of your videos, but it's a catalyst that I think needs to be talked about, where if you're literally going to murder someone for having a different opinion than you, we crossed the Rubicon of, like, I'm terrified. I truly am terrified. And what makes it more terrifying is so many prominent people in the game industries, in charge of our technology, in charge of so many different things in our government that are cheering for this. How do you come back from this? And this movie, like, has that message of, can you come back from it? Will there always be those people? And I know there's probably a sub message about America, like, glorifying this. I mean, it's kind of been like in this, you say that, but it's like, Battle Royale could be the same thing, glorifying that with the government doing something, or Hunger Games glorifying the killing of the districts. So, I mean, this is not a theme that is new, but yeah, I mean, this is probably set in the Vietnam era, if I'm just guessing too. So, yes, it's a movie, has a point, and it kind of resonates with what's happening in today's day and age. So, just be forewarned. Be forewarned. So, The Long Walk will receive a 4 out of 5 with Futons, which equals at 80%. We'll see the critics and user scores gave this one. So, we have critics a 91%, audience score an 86%, 171 critics, 250 audience score. Critic consensus: Cooper, Hoffman, and David Jonsson's soulful performances bring a lot of heart to Stephen King's dystopian tale, making The Long Walk a life-or-death ordeal for its characters, but a riveting ride for audiences. We did have 3 walkouts, and they walk out at the weirdest time when there was like only 5 or 4 of the teens left. I'm like, bro, really? Girls, really? Anyway, 91, 86, 80. Chase out here at the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. I know this Futontopia. You Blue Futonians, thank you for watching. It's a great day. I don't care what to say tomorrow, week, for a month, a year from now. Obviously, a freaking one of you. Peace and love. Peace and love. And what did you think of this long walk?